Welcome to episode 194 of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history by 17 Laws Guy. It's May 13, 1902, Madrid. A football tournament arranged for the coronation celebrations of King Alfonso XIII. And on a horse racing ground in the Spanish capital, two young clubs meet for the first time, Madrid Football Club and Football Club Barcelona. Barcelona win 3-1. Nobody calls it El Clásico yet. There's no La Liga, no Bernabeu, no Camp Nou, no Franco mythology, no Di Stefano dispute, no Cruyff, no Laudrup, no Figo, no Messi, and no global broadcast audience. But the ingredients are already there. Madrid and Barcelona, capital and Catalonia, power and identity, administration and emotion. And from this first meeting, one of football's great fixtures begins. But how did we get here? Start with Spanish football before Spain has a football system. At the turn of the 20th century, football in Spain is still an imported habit. It travels through British workers, students, sailors, engineers, merchants, and sporting clubs. It takes root first in places with ports, industry, and foreign connections and urban curiosity. Huelva, Bilbao, Barcelona, and Madrid. Barcelona's club comes first. In 1899, Joan Gamper, Swiss, athletic, restless, already steeped in football culture, helps found FC Barcelona with a group of Swiss, Catalan, German, and English enthusiasts. From the beginning, Barca is not simply a football side. It is international in its origin and local in its emotional pull. The club's own history describes that early identity as intercultural, multi-sport, and deeply tied to Barcelona and Catalonia. This matters because Barcelona is not just a city. It is the capital of a Catalan world with its own language, civic culture, bourgeois energy, and political imagination. Long before Més que un club becomes the slogan, Barca is already more than a Sunday team. It is a way for a modern, self-aware Barcelona to play itself into public life. Madrid's club comes slightly later. As we discussed in episode 126, Madrid football grows out of a small turn-of-the-century circles, students, young men, imported rules, informal matches, and one early seedbed called Football Club Sky. Sky splits. Former members built something more durable, and on March 6, 1902, Madrid Football Club is formally founded. And the key figure is Juan Padrós, Barcelona-born no less, but central to Madrid's football institution building. Along with his brother Carlos and other former members of Football Sky, he helps create Madrid FC. He's not just a club founder, he's a football administrator, later tied to the first Spanish Federation of Football Clubs and the path towards the National Federation. That already tells you something about Madrid. Barcelona feels like identity becoming a club, but Madrid feels like organization becoming a club. And then, only weeks after Madrid FC's formal founding, Carlos Padrós helps create the occasion that brings the two clubs together, the Copa de la Coronación, the Coronation Cup. It is arranged in Madrid in honor of Alfonso XIII. It is not recognized today by the Spanish Federation as the first Copa del Rey, but historically it is the hinge. It is the first national football competition staged in Spain. 5 teams take part: Madrid FC, FC Barcelona, Club Español from Barcelona, New Football Club from Madrid, and Club Vizcaya, a Basque combination built from Athletic Club and Bilbao Football Club. So already the map is there. Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, the future power centers of Spanish football, all in miniature. And on May 13, 1902, Madrid FC and Barcelona meet in the semi-final. The venue is the Hipódromo de la Castellana, a horse racing track in Madrid, not a football cathedral, not a purpose-built stage, a borrowed space for a borrowed sport that is still learning how to become Spanish. Madrid score first. Arthur Johnson gets the goal. And that is perfect early football symbolism. Madrid's first competitive Clásico goal comes from an Englishman, a reminder that even this most Spanish of rivalries begins inside an imported game. Then Barcelona answer. Udo Steinberg scores twice. Juan Gamper himself adds another from the penalty spot. Madrid 1, Barcelona 3. The first Clásico belongs to Barca. But Barcelona don't win the tournament. They lose the final 2 days later to Club Vizcaya. Madrid, meanwhile, go on to win the consolation event the Copa de la Gran Peña, beating Club Español. That is the wonderful smallness of it. The First Clásico is not the final. It doesn't crown the Spanish champion. It is not yet loaded with the weight of a century. It is a semi-final in a coronation festival, played by amateur pioneers on a racing ground. And yet, in hindsight, it is the spark. So what did it mean? Well, it shows that the rivalry begins before the infrastructure. Before La Liga is founded in 1929, Madrid and Barcelona are already meeting in cup football. Before the professional era, before radio, before television, before global brands, the fixture already has the essential architecture. Two young clubs from two cities that will come to imagine Spain differently. The 1902 match does not yet carry the full political charge that El Clásico later acquires. It is not Franco versus Catalonia. It is not dictatorship versus resistance. It is not yet Madrid as the regime's international showcase and Barcelona as an oasis of Catalan identity. That comes later. The 1930s deepened the meaning. Barcelona's own history describes the club's commitment to freedom, democracy, and Catalan identity during the Republic, and the assassination of Josep Sunyol near Madrid in 1936 becomes one of the darkest symbols in club memory. After the Civil War, Barca's identity is repressed, its name and crest altered, its presidents politically managed. And then the rivalry hardens. The 1943 Copa de Generalissimo semi-final, with Madrid's 11-1 second leg win, becomes one of the great contested myths of the rivalry. The football result is real. The meaning is still argued. And that is exactly how Clásico memory works. Facts become scars, and scars become inheritance. Then comes the Di Stefano dispute. Barcelona believe they have him, but Madrid get him. And the player who had dazzled in Colombia with Millonarios, whom we discussed around the El Dorado story in episode 184 just 10 days ago, becomes the man who transforms Real Madrid into the first great European Cup dynasty. If 1902 is the spark, Di Stefano is the accelerant. We'll do an episode on that transfer saga, of course. Then the television age adds its own images. Johan Cruyff walking into the Bernabeu in 1974 and Barcelona winning 5-0. The Manitas, 5-goal humiliations that become their own symbolic language. Laudrup's back-to-back Manitas in 94 and 95, one for each club. Check out episode 68 to hear more about that incredible story. Luis Figo crossing from Barcelona to Madrid in 2000, then returning to Camp Nou as the ultimate traitor figure. Barca's Ronaldinho being applauded at the Bernabeu in 2005. Guardiola's 2-6 in 2009. Mourinho against Guardiola in 2011, when the two clubs met 4 times in 18 days and the rivalry became almost unhealthily intense. Messi in 2017, scoring in the 92nd minute at the Bernabeu and holding his number 10 shirt up to the crowd. And the modern twist, El Clásico exported around the world, played in Supercopas abroad, watched by hundreds of millions, sold as a global product, while still somehow behaving like a local argument. And that is what Clásico really means. Literally, of course, it means the classic. At first, the idea belongs to league football, the classic match between Spain's two biggest, most successful clubs. Over time, the term expands. Now any Madrid versus Barcelona match becomes El Clásico, League, Cup, Supercopa, Champions League, wherever it's played. But the deeper meaning is not marketing. A Clásico is a fixture that has learned to remember. Every new match carries the old ones inside it. The first 3-1, the 11-1, the 8-2 we covered in episode 95, the Manitas, the Di Stefano argument, the Messi-Ronaldo decade, the political banners, the whistles, the applause, the sense that a goal is never only a goal. And that is why May 13, 1902 matters. Not because the players knew they were inventing the world's most famous club rivalry. They didn't, of course. But because some matches become historic twice. First when they are played, and then later, when history realizes what they started. Before we go, 3 things to take away from May 13, 1902. First, the first Clásico happened before Spanish football was fully built. No La Liga, no modern federation, no professional structure, just young clubs and a national tournament trying to create a football calendar. Second, the match already contained the rivalry's future grammar. Madrid and Barcelona, capital and Catalonia, imported football and local identity, administration, and emotion. And third, El Clásico became El Clásico through accumulation. One match didn't create the mythology. A century of scorelines, symbols, transfers, politics, humiliations, and genius dared. On this day 1902, Barcelona beat Madrid 3-1 in the Copa de la Coronación, and a semi-final on a Madrid horse racing ground became the first chapter of El Clásico. That is all for episode 194 of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history by 17 Lost Guy. Tomorrow, we go to May 14, 1931, and to one of those moments that seem normal today, yet had to be invented first: exchanging shirts after a match. See you tomorrow.